Hey there. Ever just feel something in a room? Like an energy, something unspoken.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That kind of vibe you can't quite put your finger on.
Exactly. Well, today on the deep dive, we're going to get into that, into vibration, but maybe in a way you haven't thought about.
We're looking at this fascinating workshop, right? And its whole take on vibration.
Yeah, the idea that it's not just like a feeling, but maybe key to understanding, well, almost everything. Atoms, emotions, how we click with people.
It sounds pretty out there at first, maybe, but the workshop connects it all.
So our mission today is basically to unpack this whole vibration thing, see what it means in different areas and, how it might actually be useful in our lives without getting totally lost in complex jargon.
Sounds good. Because vibration is one of those words, isn't it? It pops up everywhere.
It really does.
Yeah, the source material, this workshop, it really leans into that. You've got physics talking about atoms vibrating, making up matter.
Right, the science basics.
Then you swing over to mystics talking about auras and energy vibrations. And then, like, someone on a dating app goes, nah, we just didn't vibe.
Hmm. Yeah, totally different context, but the same word.
Exactly. And this workshop, it's kind of focused on using vibration, specifically aiming for higher vibrations, for like self-improvement, even making you more appealing, apparently. It covers a lot of ground.
Okay, so it's definitely broader than just, whether you like someone's energy. Did the workshop break it down? Like different kinds of vibration.
It did, yeah. Which is helpful. Think of it in categories. First, there's the physical stuff,
Oh,
super straightforward. Atoms jiggling around, that's vibration at its most basic level. Sound waves moving through the air, the ground shaking in an earthquake.
your heartbeat.
Your heartbeat, exactly. A tuning fork ringing out that clear note. All physical vibrations we can, measure or feel pretty directly.
Makes sense.
Then you've got electromagnetic vibrations, light waves, microwaves, the signal making your phone ring, that kind of thing.
Still pretty scientific, tangible stuff. But then it goes deeper, right? Into our internal world.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The workshop talks about mental and emotional
Like a
vibrations.
mood swing or intuition.
No, exactly that.
Yeah.
That sudden mood shift or a gut feeling you just know is right. Even remembering someone's voice, the tone, the feeling that comes with it, that's described as having a vibrational quality.
Huh. Never thought of a memory having a vibration.
Right. And they also mention the hum of our thoughts, that sort of constant background noise in our heads.
Okay. And then moving outwards. Social stuff.
Yeah, social vibrations. You know that feeling in a really excited crowd. Or just the opposite, like a really calm, peaceful gathering. That good vibes thing.
Or charisma.
Mhm.
Like some people just command attention.
That's it. Charisma, leadership presence.
Mm.
Those are examples of social vibration in action, according to the workshop.
And it didn't stop there, did it? There was a spiritual angle too.
There was. Things like chanting mantras, the feeling you get from that resonance, or that deep presence you might feel in total silence, in meditation, feeling tuned in.
Tuned in.
But the key idea from the workshop isn't just listing these, it's that they're all interconnected.
How so?
They use this image of vibrating Russian doll of experience. Like each type of vibration is nested inside the others, influencing them. Physical affects emotional, emotional affects social, and so on.
A vibrating Russian doll. I like that. It gives a sense of layers all humming together, which I guess leads to resonance, how one vibe affects another.
Exactly. Resonance is huge in this model. The workshop uses the classic tuning fork example.
Oh, yeah, I remember that from school.
Right. You strike one tuning fork, and another nearby, one you haven't even touched, starts humming the same note. That's sympathetic harmonic resonance.
Okay.
And the workshop uses this as a metaphor for, well, loads of things. Spiritual work, healing, how we communicate, how we influence each other without even trying sometimes.
So how does that play out with people? The tuning fork thing is clear, but between us.
Well, think about being around someone who's just deeply, genuinely calm. The workshop calls it being in a God state. Doesn't their calmness sometimes like rub off on you? You feel a bit calmer too.
Yeah, definitely. Or the opposite. Someone super agitated can make you feel tense.
Exactly. That's resonance. Or think about how one calm person in a panicked crowd can sometimes just bring the temperature down.
Right. De-escalation.
Uh-huh. Why chanting or singing together feels so powerful. Why a specific song hits you right in the feels, but another does nothing. Even, how your dog just knows when you're sad. It's all seen as forms of vibrational resonance.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. And this connects to the super beacon idea. That sounds a bit sci-fi.
It does sound a bit sci-fi, but it's more of a metaphor in this context, not a physical gadget.
Ah, okay. So what does it represent?
Think of it as representing something or someone or even an idea that consistently holds a really high, stable vibration, like a lighthouse emitting a clear frequency.
And the idea is,
The idea is that if you're sort of in the field of the super beacon, your own frequencies naturally start to align with it. It's called entrainment, like tuning your radio to a strong station.
so you get pulled towards that higher vibration, towards what the workshop called the essential self.
That's the concept, yeah. Aligning with that clearer, more stable signal.
So it's less about a magic box and more about finding or cultivating that steady inner signal.
Right.
And the workshop mentioned a drone tone for this.
Exactly. The drone tone concept ties into brain waves, specifically alpha and theta states.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Think of the drone tone as a fixed reference point, a steady, unwavering frequency that represents the state you're aiming for, this calm, aware, receptive alpha theta state. It's like an anchor.
An anchor frequency.
Hmm.
And our own state, our thoughts and feelings right now, that's like another tone.
That's the idea. Your current subject's tone, how you're actually vibrating in the moment. You compare that to the steady drone.
And what happens then?
Well, if your tone matches the drone, you feel that harmony. That zero beat, the workshop mentioned peace, alignment. If they're out of sync, there's a dissonance. Not
Yeah.
bad, just feedback.
Feedback that you've maybe drifted from that calm state.
Exactly. A little nudge to gently guide yourself back to that reference frequency.
Now, the workshop was specific. No beta, no delta.
Mm.
Why zero in on alpha and theta? What's so special about those brainwave states?
Ah, good question. They call alpha theta the liminal zone, sort of the edge, right?
The edge of what?
The edge of normal waking consciousness, but before deep sleep. In alpha theta, your mind's still awake enough for thought, feeling, intuition, but you're not caught up in the busy, often anxious chatter of the everyday beta state.
Okay, so not the frazzled everyday thinking.
Right, and you're also not totally shut down like in delta, which is deep sleep. This liminal zone, alpha theta, is seen as this really fertile ground. You're receptive, open to insight, better able to consciously, feel and process things.
Okay, so it's a sweet spot for awareness and maybe change.
That's the idea, a state for conscious thought and feeling without the usual noise.
So tuning into this alpha theta state, maybe using that drone concept,
Mm-hmm.
it changes your inner world.
Yeah.
But you said earlier it could actually affect how we look
Yeah.
and react. How does that work?
Yeah, it sounds like a leap, but the workshop laid out this 5-step process, and the very first step is vibe first, face follows.
Vibe first, face follows. Okay.
The idea is when you get into that calmer alpha theta state, your nervous system chills out physiologically.
Like physically changes.
Yeah, you get better blood flow, your facial muscles relax, unconsciously held tension just melts away, and the result can be, well, a more relaxed, maybe even radiant appearance, less strained.
So that inner peace glow might actually be a thing, biologically.
According to this workshop, yes, it starts inside, with the nervous system calming down due to the vibrational shift.
Wow.
Um,
Okay, what are the other steps in this alignment process?
Step 2 is harmonic temperament, magnetic personality.
Meaning,
Meaning, if you're consistently radiating that calm, stable reference frequency, that drone tone we talked about, people pick up on it. Maybe not consciously, but they sense that inner stability.
and they're drawn to it.
That's the suggestion. It's not about trying to be magnetic, but about being that steady frequency it naturally attracts.
Interesting. So it's about your state of being, not putting on a show. What's next?
Step 3, you stop fighting with yourself.
Ah, the inner critic.
Exactly. That internal conflict, the anxiety, the negative self-talk, that's like internal static, right? Dissonance. When you settle into that calmer, harmonic vibration,
The static clears.
pretty much the inner monologue gets quieter, less critical, leads to better moods, more inner ease, less wrestling with yourself.
That sounds appealing. And the last two steps, they seem more about physical presence.
Yeah, they connect the inner state to the outer body. Step 4 is posture changes with frequency.
How so?
The observation is that when people are genuinely in these more coherent, higher frequency states, they just carry themselves differently. They tend to stand taller, seem more grounded, more naturally confident in their posture.
Less slumped, maybe?
Less slumped, more open perhaps. And the final step, number 5, is mirrors become friends.
Okay.
It suggests that as you get used to this tuned self, this version of you that resonates with calm and stability, your self-perception shifts. You start to actually like or appreciate what you see rather than constantly finding flaws or feeling like you need external fixes.
So the whole process emphasizes that the real change, the lasting change, comes from tuning yourself inside first.
That's the core message, yeah. It's not about surface level adjustments, it's about internal harmonic alignment.
And this workshop took that idea pretty far, didn't it? Suggesting it affects more than just how we feel or look day to day.
Oh, yeah. The idea of raise your vibration and everything else connects this inner work to really tangible benefits, like potentially smoother skin,
Okay, we mentioned the face.
but also clearer thinking, making better decisions, feeling calm, even when things are crazy around you, people trusting you more, attracting better relationships, better opportunities. It links the inner vibe to outer results.
But it also went into some, well, more out there territory about what happens after this life.
It did touch on the esoteric side, yeah. It proposed that your dominant vibration, the frequency you consistently hold, might even matter in the between lives state.
The bardo, some traditions call it.
Exactly. The idea is a higher, clearer frequency helps you stay oriented, more aware after you leave the physical body. It helps you navigate those transitional states more easily.
And gravitate towards certain experiences.
Potentially, yes, towards more welcoming frequencies, maybe making clearer choices about what comes next if you believe in that sort of thing. It's definitely an expansive view.
Hugely expansive. Okay, but back to the practical. The workshop offered actual techniques, right? Not just concepts.
Absolutely. It focused on real ways to become more aware of your vibration and, importantly, how to tune it yourself.
Like what?
Using sound was big specific tones, maybe music, conscious breathing techniques, practices for directing your attention, your focus, and they mentioned super beacon tech, which we figured is more that guiding concept.
Right, the metaphorical lighthouse.
Yeah. And crucially, they mentioned a specific tool they're developing, a God state drone audio track, something you could actually listen to help you find and hold that tuned state.
Okay, so practical tools are part of it. And this idea of tuning even connects to creativity. You mentioned writing lyrics on Suno.
Yeah, this was fascinating. The workshop described the act of creating, like writing lyrics for an AI music generator like Suno, as literally tuning.
Tuning the song. Or yourself.
Kind of both. You're embedding your own state, your emotional frequency, your intention into the creation. The resulting song isn't just words and music. It becomes a portable frequency object.
A portable frequency object.
Wow.
Meaning it carries your vibe.
That's the idea. It can then resonate with and potentially influence the listener's frequency. It also mentioned that working in those alpha theta states really enhances creative flow anyway. Makes sense, right? Less inner noise, more clarity.
Yeah, totally. It sounds less like pulling teeth and more like letting it flow.
And it gets even more intriguing. Songs as post-life resonators or soul breadcrumb pathfinder technology.
Okay, now we're really out there. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I think the idea is that the vibrational signature you embed in your creations might persist somehow, like little frequency markers you leave behind.
Huh. And what about Pinterest? How does that fit in?
Oh, right. Curating a Paphos board was described as creating a vibration board. It's like visual feedback on your current frequency, what you're drawn to, what resonates. It's a kind of nonverbal tuning practice. You're surrounding yourself visually with the vibe you want.
So even scrolling Pinterest can be like a mindfulness practice if you approach it that way.
Uh-huh.
And group songs. There was something about magic there.
Yeah, the magic they talked about is creating a shared harmonic grid.
A grid.
When lots of people add their voices, their energy, their intentions to one song, it creates something much richer and more complex than any one person could make alone.
Like weaving threads together.
Exactly. This shared resonance, this richer tone can then uplift everyone connected to it. It builds this collective positive energy. They called it quantum kindness through creative expression.
I like that, quantum kindness. Okay, so lots of ways to engage with this vibration idea. But what if you're not quite ready to, start chanting loudly on the bus? Are there subtle ways? Invisible practices?
Definitely. And the workshop stressed this. You don't need to look weird. Lots of simple, everyday things count.
Like what? Give me examples.
Okay, just 5 minutes of quiet meditation, mindful movement, a walk, stretching, playing guitar, even just noodling for a few minutes, looking at art that moves you.
The Pinterest thing again.
Yeah, curating your boards, writing one really good sentence, focusing on crafting it, and just basic breath awareness, paying attention to your inhale and exhale, all really low profile.
And the key is?
Consistency, not intensity. Little and often is better than some huge effort once a month, weaving it into your life gently.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the workshop also hinted that maybe raising your vibration isn't just a personal wellness thing, that there might be reasons to be a bit discrete.
Yeah, that was an interesting thread. The idea is that being more connected, thinking clearly, being emotionally free, the states associated with higher vibration might not always align with, say, systems or forces that prefer control or, keeping people reactive or divided.
So becoming more internally coherent might make you less susceptible to manipulation.
That's the implication. Therefore, things like writing uplifting songs, sharing inspiring images, gathering creatively these seemingly harmless activities could be subtle ways of raising the collective frequency, maybe disguising our inner work, as they put it. Even that 5-minute guitar riff could be a quiet act of vibrational tuning.
And this connects to the protective sigils as another tool.
Exactly. Sigils were presented as a way to not only raise your own frequency, but also to create a kind of protective resonance.
How are they described? Like, what is a sigil in this context?
They called them compression algorithms for intention, like a zip file for your goal or a psychic QR code.
Psychic QR code. Okay. Scan here for protection.
Huh, sort of. The idea is a symbol can bypass your logical, skeptical mind, the ego firewall, and plant an intention directly into your subconscious and maybe into the wider energy field.
And how do they actually work then?
The key phrase was attention activation. Just focusing your awareness on the sigil, looking at it, drawing it, thinking about it, powers it up. You're directing your energy towards the intention it represents.
And that does what?
It acts like a homing beacon in the quantum field. It starts attracting things, situations, people, insights that resonate with the sigil's encoded intention.
So a protective sigil would attract safety or maybe deflect negativity.
Exactly. It creates a resonant field around you that lower clashing vibrations find it hard to penetrate, like generates its own vibe that pushes back against unwanted stuff.
Okay. Any tips on making them more effective if someone wanted to try this?
Yeah, the workshop suggested a few things. Personalize it, make the symbol meaningful to you, pair it with a mantra or a specific sound or tone to amplify it.
Reinforce the intention.
Right. Use it daily, keep it visible, or consciously bring it to mind regularly. Consistent attention is key to keeping it charged, basically.
Got it. So we've gone from atoms buzzing to psychic QR codes.
Yeah.
It's quite a journey this workshop took. If we boil it all down, what's the main takeaway?
I think the absolute core idea is seeing ourselves and everything, really, as fundamentally frequency. We're not just flesh and bone, we're vibrating energy systems.
And we can interact with that consciously.
That's the empowering part, yes. We can become aware of our own vibration, and we can use practical, often quite simple techniques, sound, breath, focus, symbols to consciously tune it.
And tuning it can affect, well, potentially everything. Our health, mood, relationships, creativity, even maybe beyond.
That's the picture the workshop paints. From the mundane to the metaphysical, it all comes back to vibration and resonance.
So for everyone listening, maybe the next time you talk about good vibes or feeling out of tune, consider that it might be more literal than you think.
Right. What if that feeling is actual feedback about your harmonic state, your alignment with something? Yourself, others, the world.
It's definitely provocative thought. This whole deep dive suggests vibration is this incredibly rich, complex layer to reality that we're maybe just scratching the surface of understanding.
Feels like it. There's clearly a lot more to explore there.